Hi, this is Brandon with Cordoba Guitars here at the 2014 NAMM show in Anaheim, showing you some of our new products for 2014. First of all, we're very excited to announce the Asaro Series, which is our line of new steel string guitars. Asaro is the Spanish word for steel, and as many of you may know, we're a Spanish guitar focused company. So we're incorporating some of our Spanish tradition into a more modern steel string guitar. This is a line of dreadnoughts for 2014. There's 6 different models, ranging from the D9 up to the D11 CE, which is what I have in my hand here. These are all solid wood construction guitars. This particular version has an acacia back, all solid construction, and a Sitka spruce top. So a pretty standard dreadnought in appearance from the outside, but internally there's a lot of components that are not necessarily used by other manufacturers, such as the Spanish heel construction, which is a method of joining the neck to the body, which uses a slotting method in the side of the neck to insert the sides into the neck. So there's no glue joint, there's no dovetail construction. Everything is through the body for a more stable neck joint and a more resonant sound. We're also using a hybrid X and fan bracing pattern, which it really increases the punch and the sustain that you get out of the guitar. It's a great sounding bracing pattern on the guitar. It's a very lightweight guitar, very big sound, and then some other interesting design elements like the raised headstock cap with the rosewood strip, Grover tuning machines. And we're also very excited to bring in this new proprietary pickup system. This is called the Acoustic Fidelity system that we've developed specifically for acoustic guitars, both steel string and nylon string. So this is our new pickup system called the AFS, and sort of the idea is to use very hi-fi electronic components, a combination of a piezo system in the bridge, which uses a bottom-mounted 6-element system so that our engineers can fine-tune the volume for each string, and then combine that with an internal microphone as well, which is blendable on the controls. So there's a master volume, a microphone blend control, and a tone knob, which gives you a range of bright to mellow tones. So very useful, beautiful sounds in this guitar. These are going to range in price from about $700 up to $1,050. Again, with all solid wood construction in every model. There's a mahogany, an Indian rosewood, and this is the acacia version. And everything will include a hard shell case as well. I'm going to play a little bit of this one for you. So to read up on some of the full specs and as well as where to buy these guitars, you can visit our website, cordobaguitars.com, and just look for the page for each guitar. It'll have full specs and a list of dealers that are selling these guitars. Hi everyone, this is Brandon with Cordoba Guitars at the 2014 NAMM show in Anaheim. Here to show you some of the guitars that we're building in the USA. These are our Master Series guitars. These are a range of 4 guitars that are reproductions of some of the most iconic and sort of holy grail guitars from the history of the Spanish guitar. So first of all is the Torres model. Down here we have the original guitar from 1864 that Antonio Torres built. Antonio Torres was kind of the godfather, the father of the Spanish guitar, developed some of the elements that are still used to this day, such as the fan bracing, for example, was something that he invented way back in the 1800s. And these guitars are so incredibly rare and expensive, yet are still sort of sought after by pretty much every guitar player. So what we wanted to do is sort of offer these guitars as reproductions, hand-built from choice woods in the USA. So this is the reproduction of the Torres model that we're building in California. All solid wood construction, Indian rosewood on the back and sides, a solid European rosewood top, ebony fingerboard, internal truss rod in the neck, just like all of our guitars. So basically what we've done here is we've gone into the original guitar and copied all the thicknesses of the woods, gone through every little nuance of the guitar from the original and put it into this guitar. So these reproductions really have kind of the original voice and character of these guitars at a fraction of the cost. So this is the Torres. Next is the Reyes model. This is a flamenco guitar. This particular original down here was built in 1970 by Manuel Reyes. And these guitars are considered the quintessential flamenco guitars. And we went ahead and copied many of the construction elements, you know, did the same rosette, built it from all solid cypress, spruce top, ebony fingerboard. So again, we went inside the guitar, copied the bracing and all the internal elements, and this is the Reyes model. Nice low action, great playability, tap plate for the flamenco players. Again, this will sell for $3,500. The next guitar, one of my personal favorites. This is a 1973 Miguel Rodriguez, who is regarded by most to be sort of, you know, one of the more modern quintessential builders of Spanish guitar. So this is the original Rodriguez that we copied, and this up here is our reproduction. This has a solid western red cedar top, solid Indian rosewood back and sides. By the way, all of these guitars have a cedar neck, Spanish cedar neck, ebony fingerboard, internal truss rod, and the Rodriguez construction and bracing. Beautiful sounding, very warm and big sounding classical guitar. And one of the most interesting stories, in my opinion, is this 1937 Hauser. This is the sister guitar of Andres Segovia, who also played a 1937 Hauser, which is on display in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. And this guitar was built by the same builder in the same year, so it's as close to that guitar as you can find. So we went into this guitar and copied it. So this is our Hauser model, which has a spruce top, just like the original. And this particular guitar, instead of Indian rosewood, is built with a rosewood from Mexico called Granadillo, which we're experimenting with. We really, really love the look of this wood. As you can see, it's quite exquisite to look at. Similar tone quality to a Brazilian rosewood, but in my opinion, a little more interesting visually. So again, on the outside, a fairly standard classical guitar, but internally is an identical copy of the original Hauser from Munich, Germany. Here's the Hauser with the Indian rosewood back. So this is the Master Series, built in Oxnard, California. We have a small team of about 6 builders building these guitars, low quantities, very high quality. We're very excited about these guitars. They're all going to retail for $3,500 with the standard wood combinations. These are something new for us. We started building these guitars in the USA last year, and we're very excited. These are turning out great. We're loving them. So check them out. Again, more information for all of these guitars is available at CordobaGuitars.com, as well as a list of dealers who are selling these. So check them out. They're awesome.
I'm Mark Kemp with Acoustic Guitar Magazine here with Brandon from Cordoba Guitars, and he's got a brand new line here that he wants to talk to us about with some interesting features like this new wood. Can you tell me a little bit about that new rosewood
Yeah, so our favorite back and side material for these classical guitars is a very common wood that you'll see, Indian rosewood, which is from India. Pretty standard straight grained rosewood that sounds incredible. lot of people know and love this stuff. This is pretty common stuff. But we're experimenting and doing a few guitars with a rosewood that we kind of discovered. This is a rosewood from Mexico called Granadillo. And as you can see, the sapwood and the figuring in this wood is unlike any other. It's really beautiful.
And you said you guys discovered that. How did that come about?
You know, this is just working with our wood suppliers, looking at what they have. Sometimes they get special things in, and we like to try things. Near Central America, you know, comes from this tropical climate where these kind of, you know, very dense tone woods grow.
Right. And have other guitars been made of this specific kind of rosewood?
You know, I've never seen it before. I'm sure they have, but this is the first time we use it. So the birth of this line, this is a series of 4 different designs that we sort of worked in conjunction with Kenny Hill, who was already working on these guitars and looking at the original sort of holy grail classical and flamenco guitars from Spain throughout history dating back to the 1860s. And we went inside all of the guitars, because these are the guitars that a lot of classical and flamenco players really wish they owned.
Right.
These are the Stradivarius of their kind, and we wanted to provide these designs and these guitars for the typical player.
And do you use the same kind of bracing that?
We went so in depth. We had very, you know, specialized measuring tools to find the exact thicknesses of every piece of wood. So they're as close to the originals as you're going to get.
This is great. This is really beautiful.
Very exciting guitars.
The price point is pretty decent, right?
Yeah, I think so. I agree. For a USA made in California guitar, all the standard woods are going to sell for $3,500 retail. And once you get into the more exotic woods and things like that, it'll get closer to $4,000 and above, depending on what the materials are. As far as the tuning machines, we're using high quality modern tuning machines.
But they look
Things like that, you know, tonally aren't going to make an impact.
right.
And we want them to function really well. And there's some other modern elements that we're incorporating that are not in the originals. For example, a truss rod,
Right.
which we have in every of our guitars, which we think kind of, you know, increases the, you know, the longevity and the adjustability and things like that. There's also a polyurethane finish for durability. We're making very special care to do the finish thin, so it's not impacting the tone, but it does make it last a lot longer than the original finishes, which are quite fragile.
And have you had any guitarists that we may know come and express interest in these or buy any of these?
You know, these are so new for us that we're trying to propagate them into the world. We have some artists that have done videos and things like that, you know, but they're honestly still being built and still getting out in the world, so they're that new for us.
That new.
That's right.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Brandon, for talking to us.
It's a pleasure, Mark.